right, folks. Here we go. All right, I'm having a great little. Oh God, damn it!
Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Don't follow Crumb.
We are live with Alex Lowry. What's up, man?
I don't know, man. I'm not used to being up this early.
I know, dude. Me neither. I know exactly what you mean.
See the sun on my cat? I got sun. I do live in daylight.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you adjusted for more light on your camera view there. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, you look good though. You look good.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's long overdue in my opinion. Alex Lowry, for those who don't know, you are probably like the OG guest on this channel.
Yeah, we learned how to stream together.
For the most part, yeah. yeah, no. And we we started off doing a lot of like music stuff and usually pretty late and we're having a good time. And we've come a long way and got through the COVID nonsense. That was a lot of fun.
The silver lining of the lockdowns was really that we just figured out how to do things ourselves because we didn't have anything else to do. Like the music, all the music dried up, and at least the mid-level venues where I was playing, it just all dried up in 2020. And there was I did one tour after 2020 and it barely made it because most of the venues I used to play, at least overseas, shut down. So here we are trying to make up for whatever time we were losing by figuring stuff out on streams. And, I think, that's the silver lining in it for me,
Yeah, no, I think if honestly, like the whole lockdown thing happened like at a time when I was probably going to be jaded anyway about things. So it's been kind of tough to like get back into, all right, everything's cool again. Like, because it's like, I don't know, I'm like now in my 40s and I'm like, it's hard to get back in that swing where maybe if I was in my 20s, I'd be like, okay, that was a nice 3 years. So let's go back to being rocking.
Right.
But,
I mean, it's hard to after, well, I would just say like after the last 4 years, everything that we were given time to, and if you use the time to learn stuff and you use that time appropriately, I think a lot of us learned so much, especially like if you're a musician in the music business. I mean, I learned so many horrible things about the music business in the last 4 years that, maybe we dodged a bullet, man. I mean, like, clearly Eminem's not a gangster anymore.
No.
For Kamala. It's like you're so gangster, buddy. Oh man, it's like now you're showing your cards. And it was that whole thing too. It was like we could spot, the shill bands for like who came out and shilled for the what. And I just started firing some of my favorite bands. They wrote great music and I like their songs, man. But I'm just like, dude, I might listen to your song, but dude, I'm not gonna pay for a concert ticket or support you as an individual anymore. I know what you did because you showed your cards. Just like. I'm sure we're going to continue to see, which musicians, sign the
deal. Rage on behalf of the machine. The freedom. Well, I'm trying to think. Foo Fighters. What would they be? I don't know. But yeah, that was horrible. And we all know. I mean, I know that like the beast was just too big for anybody to come out. Like it was just too hard, I guess. But
Van Morrison came out. Van Morrison went against.
I know it was great.
I know because I do, like even the Beatles. I mean, we know the score there, and it's like, but there's still some Beatles songs that I like. So how do you negotiate that part of your world? When it's so much of a part of you. And growing up, and like I know a million records, man, and I could sing a ton of songs, and yet the people behind those songs, it's a slippery slope, dude. It really is.
This is actually a really good question because As like for artists, like what standards do you set on artists? Because I try to just sit this like not associate people like their personal lives in with their art. Like
Right.
if I hear a song, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like Chuck Berry, for example. Like I love listening to Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Did he pee on white girls? Yeah. Um, what am I supposed to do? Not enjoy Johnny B. Good anymore? I mean, like, at a certain point, like, if we really, I mean, musicians are not known for their personal lives being the most moral, and that's fine with me. If you listen to people who have a lot of morality and listen to their music, you're listening to Christian rock. And I'm sorry, Christian rock is the least creative.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
three
do anything.
chords. Jesus, Jesus. It's just you don't memorize anything. There's no innovation. It's all about the message of, and, eccentric people, you push the lines with music. So like their personal views, usually I try not to like I don't like to mix them up. I don't really care. I just like
Right.
whatever, it's best not to know because like anything, I mean, I don't, my standard of like who I listen to and I'm listening to music, I don't do a deep dive into their personal lives before I start enjoying it. And I don't think anybody does. But, but the one time I'm like, fuck you, Neil Young, like really? And it was just really with the whole lockdown stuff because I'm just like, that one like set me over where I'm like, now I do care what your personal life and what you're doing.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And I will tell you, like I mean, it made it a lot more clear, for me, how the system works. And because once you had a litmus test for like, why is this person suddenly shilling for this experimental thing that you're supposed to put in you, and like, I'm like, wait a minute. No, not you two. Oh, not you two. Not you two. No. And then it's just like cringing over and over and over again, one after another. And I'm just here, I'm checking boxes off. Okay, you're fired now. Is anybody going to nut up and like, come to the plate and be like, fuck you, I'm not taking it. And it's Van Morrison of all people, like the only person, that in that early time period, and like, I don't think anybody else is, but like, even like Eddie Vedder, man, Pearl Jam, that was my jam, dude. When in the 90s, man, I was like, this band is awesome. And here he is doing that thing. And I'm like, fuck.
Wouldn't it be funny if the whole time, because you never understand what he's saying, so wouldn't it be funny if the whole time he was like, gotta get jammed, gotta listen to establishments, and I got my third burster, and we're all just like, yeah, of course, this band rocks. And then we look it up, we're like, the whole time? The whole freaking time, this is what's going on. Like it's on us, I gotta get vaccinated.
I know, man.
Yeah.
But like I said, but like that whole period, man. It's like it was you and me, and it's like fresh 2020, and everybody's just like, what in the actual fuck is going on? And we're sitting, this is when I still had the studio built out in here. And I remember spending late nights with you, like, dude, what are we supposed to do now? And we were like experimenting with like trying to do concerts through the stream. And we're like, shit, the lag's not going to we can't do it with the lag. It's going to have to be, you're going to have to play solo. And then I'm going to have to play like the rhythm part. And like, because I'm always going to be like a half second behind you with the lag. And we went through this whole thing where we're trying to figure out if there's a way to get the lag down to zero so we could actually do a concert. And it seems like just yesterday,
it got to the point where I was looking up like we got to get on the same IP address. You're on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. Why don't we split in the middle, getting there like right around like Wichita, and maybe the lag will be off. And I'm just like, I'm going to a crazy place.
Yeah.
This can't, even if I do figure this out, I'm like the only one on the internet that's going to be doing it, so no one will even appreciate it.
You remember that awful performance that the Stones did right at the beginning of, the 2020 thing? And you could tell that the lag was in their broadcast, and it just sounded like, a dude playing a skeleton. and
Right.
like nothing sounded good. But they propped them up and they do your at-home concert or whatever. And I was like, this sounds like a turd, you know?
I
And
know,
like,
I know, and mixing it at home, like yeah, it really is. It sucks because like live music is special for a reason, but nobody listens. It's really hard to do like something good live online because, well, one, it all depends on the mix, and two, it's like who listens? Like the point of live music is to see the energy in person. If you're listening to it through speakers, I'd rather just hear the studio version usually.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's because you can. And yeah, so there was like I was trying to figure out ways to make live music as cool as live without being live, and it's like
Yeah.
you're never gonna get it. And
I mean, you by yourself, obviously, it comes across fantastic. If it's just you playing in front of a mic, when you do your shows, I mean, that's perfect. When you start adding people to it, it's just like this dance. It's this dance.
unless you're what's his name, Hetfield, the astronaut from space, they were able to do it with no delay.
Yeah, no.
with
Did you ever
people?
you ever wonder like they never like had pictures of him in that rocket taking that guitar? It's like, if you got any room in the rocket for the guitar, and like, sure, you could just put it behind the space seat over there and just lock it in, and we'll get it up to you. I'll also put that gorilla suit behind there too. Matter of fact, put the guitar inside the gorilla suit and then shove it behind the rocket seat over there, and we'll get it up to the space station. We'll get it on up there.
Wouldn't gravity have an effect on the sound? Like, don't you think like a guitar on the moon would sound like a ukulele or something? Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's an ongoing debate that you can't poop in space. I mean, like, there's so many things about this whole thing, and but I'm just thinking about it. It's like all the weird objects that suddenly appear on the ISS. It's like when you're calculating for fuel. Did you calculate for fuel in the rocket for like that extra acoustic guitar?
Or like whoever goes to the Super Bowl, like they happen to have like a flag for it. Like,
yeah,
they brought all the teams, and then when it's Super Bowl time, it's like, yeah, go Chargers. Like, how do they know?
They came up on the last supply rocket. They went up last week. We're like, we just think it's going to be the Chargers. We think it's going to be the Chargers. Just go ahead and add it to the rocket, with our groceries and everything else that we, have to eat up here in this thing. The thing with me with like the whole 2020 and on, I think, is like it really sharpened, at least, our community's skills insofar as communicating with each other and figuring out this streaming thing. Like, you were way ahead of us. Like, the sombrero just got started 4 months ago, and I had to crash course what you had been learning for 3 or 4 years.
Testing what's project like honestly, like using stuff like StreamYard like is so helpful. Like, I didn't start with that, and that was when like StreamYard like just started. There really wasn't very many programs that was set up to kind of just help out with a lot of this. You kind of just had to use OBS and learn about stream keys and all this stuff like that. And my biggest issue was always my issue was like the audio for some reason. Like, what would sound good to me would never seem to be the same. And obviously it's because, you're a singer. So like you want to be louder. Every singer wants to hear themselves over the mix. And it sounds like you're not loud enough for a correct mix. And that's why you get a monitor mix and not a main mix usually when you perform. And me trying to that was the hardest part for me, because I would always go back and be like, man, I know if this was just tweaked a little bit and had a little bit of EQing, like this could sound worthy of, cutting up and, advertising. This is what I do. But every time I'm like, this sounds amateur. And, so like audio was the toughest for me, and the green screen stuff. I don't know why I had to make it so complicated.
Well, if you ever actually did, I don't know if you have or not, but like when we would do television, there's an entire department in the mixing for television is a completely different thing than mixing for stage. Yeah. And it's so bizarre mixing for television if you're in a studio, because you're really not, the drums are the loudest thing, obviously, but everything is really tightly controlled, and it's very soft, and you're like, this is as loud as it's going to get. And he's like, this is exactly how it works. And they do get a good television mix. It's completely different than stage mixing. And like, I think that was entering into my head when we first started doing, our late night stuff, was like, there's got to be a trick here. There's got to be something we can do here. And I gained a brand new appreciation for, television broadcasting, and what they actually do, behind the scenes. But to attribute to like what you and I and like a lot of other people have done in the community is like we've managed without, a technical team behind us. We've managed not only putting out information, music, etc., but also we're monitoring it on other screens to make sure it sounds okay. I'm still trying to figure out how far away from the mic I can be right now, because half the time I'm up on this mic, it's so good. It sounds like I'm Godzilla talking into it. And
where is your microphone right now?
It's right here. So I'm like 3 feet.
Really? So you're that far back? You're just way.
This is a singer's.
Wow.
This is not really a broadcast microphone. It's an SE. It's actually made for recording. So
That's what this is.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But even still, like I don't know. I could have it really far away, but then it picks up everything. This is a Rode K2,
yeah.
which is like and it's known for picking up a lot of shit. I know Emily just got like this $50 USB podcast mic, and it's so much better. And I'm just like, I've been like avoiding just doing that. And I don't know what, because I'm like, this is such a great mic. It has to be the one, but it's just not the.
I mean, you sounded fine today. Did you just replace that XLR? Is that what the problem was?
No, I did nothing.
It just started working again?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's common in my life, though. I don't ask questions anymore. It just does that. Yeah.
So check this out. Like I've been kind of working my way into. There's a podcast. It's pretty big in the Northeast. It's called Quite Frankly. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but like
Haven't.
he broadcasts out of Westchester, which is just north of here, like 30 minutes. But I think he's got maybe he's like over 100,000 subs, and whenever he talks about aliens and UFOs, I always like to call in. I've been kind of working on my rapport with this guy for a while, and he gave me 13 minutes last night. Because I love talking about aliens, UFOs, because I always say UFOs and flat Earth they're not mutually exclusive, and a lot of people like say, well, you think about UFOs, but you say space is fake. I was like, no, they're here with us, and they've either been here the whole time or it's offshore, it's in a different location. But I've seen things in the sky I can't describe. I'm not really a former ufologist. I still am a ufologist. I'm still like, I like talking the topic of it. But he gave me 13 minutes last night and was able to get some flat Earth stuff out to his audience. And I was watching his chat as well. And there were a lot of flat Earth people in there. So I usually use that as kind of a litmus test to kind of find out what's going on. I'll go on like I don't want to call his stream milk toast, but he's more like middle of the road, Art Bell kind of conversational style. He talks politics, but he does talk fringe, and he has had, I think he's had flat earthers on there. But I always watch a chat, and I'm like seeing what the responses are while I'm talking. And it's kind of like that real time, you get real time data back as you're talking. And interestingly enough, like you can glean a lot of data about how many people out there actually are coming, coming up or waking up, I guess. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, no, they are. I go back and forth on that. DJ last week was awesome having him on, and
he crushed.
I made some shorts, and I put them on my TikTok and my in my Instagram and stuff, and the video that got kind of a lot of views on TikTok was what's harder. Coming out of the closet or coming out flat Earth.
That was a spectacular topic, by the way. I mean, it was just like that.
It needed to be taught. It needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I thought maybe that would really, really be effective on the TikToks. I was hoping that the chats or anybody that saw that would not just spiral into normal stuff, but. Still, though, like a lot of the comments are like, well, yeah, that's because, one is a life choice and one is how they are and the other one is just being stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And just completely proving the point that it is harder. And it's just, I'm just like, man, look at these comments. Like, people are just like, we have a long way to go. We do have a long way to go.
It doesn't hit me. It doesn't take my loosh as much as it used to. Like when people are just being
right.
ad hom, and like, it was funny. I was Weiss was saying, he doesn't even see that. He just sees demons. It doesn't even affect him because I guess he's been beaten up so much, over the app that he just it's just don't you get no more loosh from me. And I'm kind of like I kind of feel like all of us are kind of getting up above that Jerry Springer, low vibration bullshit. And like whenever that comes up, it's almost like I'm not that troll isn't even there. And you engage trolls, obviously, you're just going to waste your loosh on it. But it's like, if you step back from it, it's like the more they do that, the more, it helps us, helps us.
It does. It's really just an exercise. This whole experience has just been an exercise in me detaching my emotions outside of me. And actually, it's really just like an amazing way of like having full control over your emotions and not letting outside sources kind of get the best of you. And between COVID and flat earth, I've had to learn how to be like, how to just, okay, somebody is saying something that is it's making me feel like, ugh, and I just want to go, oh yeah, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And then I'm just like, well, what if it was a child? What if it was a 10-year-old? Would I do that? Because it's not like a 10-year-old and an adult, full-grown adult, really have much difference in their argument style when it comes to flat Earth. It's basically the same as far as what they know. And so, they learn this shit when they're 10. They go, oh, and then you never really think about it again. And then you just go, oh, it's stupid because I learned this when I was 10. So there's really no point in taking those arguments any more serious than if it was just a child. And if it was a child, I'd be like, aw. Just like if a child like, hey, you're a poo-poo head. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not a poo-poo head. Have you seen? You don't spiral because you're taking yourself out of the equation. And, that's just really what it comes down to is like it really teaches us how secure we are in our beliefs, because the more secure we are, the less triggered we are by other people's contradicting beliefs. And in my opinion, I think flat Earth, what really needs to happen next for flat Earth to kind of grow is the community has to like look like something worth coming out for, because and unfortunately it has to be like a higher vibe. Like it can't be what people expect, and not even close. And because like what's in it for anybody like waking up or like coming out? I'm a flat earther. Well, what's the benefit of it? Well, I get to, if you weigh the pros and cons, it's not very good for a lot of people in their position. But I think once it becomes something where I like what they're doing, I respect what they're doing, they have a lot of people doing some high vibe stuff and it's winning, then all of a sudden they're like, yes, I feel safe now to finally admit that I'm a flat earther.
Right.
And because the community is doing such a good job as PR and handling it in a position where they are obviously the adults. And it's just going to take some time, obviously, but that's where it kind of comes down, because just like I was talking about this last week when all the P. Diddy accusations, the reasons why all these people that had this didn't come out before is because there wasn't a safe space. It wasn't overwhelmingly like comfortable enough for a lot of people until now. And whatever that has to happen for flat Earth, that's when we're going to see a lot of growth. Because I feel like the proofs are just no brainers. Right. If it was about proofs, this would have been like that, so it's more.
So I did.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, we talk about flat Earth and stuff. We talk about proofs a lot. But this show I like to keep on topic of more of the personal journey and the emotions that are going along with it, how it affects our personal lives. What do we think outside of specific things, like really more like a anthropological and cultural kind of focus.
Well, I can tell you that yesterday I catch up with my cousin Quentin, who's basically my brother. I've grown up with him since I'm 2 years older than he is, but we've been basically brothers our whole lives. And we try to catch up like once every 6 months or so. We don't talk a lot, but we catch up. And when we catch up big time. And so yesterday was the day I was just like, hey, today's the day we need to do some talking. And I spent 3 hours on the phone with him, and I knew what he wanted to ask, because everybody in my family and all of my former friends or still friends or whatever know where I'm at. And I could tell he wanted to talk about it, but we spent the first hour just, catching up on everything else. And I think he wanted to find out and make sure that I was stable, because you always get this reaction. Yeah. People, they look at you like you're fine. I'm like, look, dude, I am an evolved personality from when you knew me long ago, but like, I'm still the same dude, man. I still like to have a beer. I still like to have fun. I'm not perfect. I'm no saint. I cuss a lot, whatever. And, but the topic came up, and, I had the sense that he might be sort of, the door was opening for him. And I took him through all the points. I was like, look, dude, I mean, you can work on this on your own. It's not something that you need me for. I can help you get around censorship. I can get you straight to the source, so you're not beating your head against the wall because Google's taking you to hit pieces, every single time. And, at the end of it, he was open. He was open to the idea if he wasn't already open to it. And I'm noticing this thing where people are kind of on the fence, and it's a response that comes from just about everybody that's on the fence. He's like, what, I'm going to take a look. They kind of have a grin, and but I'm going to take a look at it. And at the end of it, I was like, Q, his name's Quentin. I was like, look, I'm not crazy, man. Like, if you think I actually wanted this, I didn't want it. And like, I had some people they were like, you're just in flat earth because you want to be famous flat earther. I was like, fuck you.
Famous flat earther.
Dude, like, that when flat earth started taking off, and then, 2020 happened, it was like a double gut punch, because firstly, like, people look at you different, obviously. And I'm like, dude, same person that you knew from before, except something inside your head is making you look at me like that. And I could see it. I could see it on your face. But with Quentin, it was, I could see that crossover kind of thing where, like, I'm not going to admit to it. I'm not a flat earther, but I'm open-minded, that famous one. And you hear a lot of these, the milquetoast, like, streamers out there too, who are having, like, flat earthers on their radio shows or on their streams. They all kind of say the same, we're not flat earth, but we're open to it, which usually tells me those hosts are flat, So like, I'm starting to pick up that language across, the medium, that the needle's starting to go the other way. And I don't want to get, it's been 10 years, man. I'm not going to sit around and wait for it, but like, as maybe, a morale booster, that there's stuff happening. Like, even quite frankly, I was on last night. He had the same response. He's like, I can't prove whether the earth is flat or not, man. I don't know. But he gave me 13 minutes to, his Northeast audience. And, that's helpful. And I think what you were talking about, as far as just being ambassadors for the scene, there's a certain language in knowing your audience and making sure that you're speaking into your audience listening. And, I think from the standpoint of our community, I want us all to be on one unified front. We're not, and there's people that are out there that are in flat earth world that they just absolutely destroy our reputation on a daily basis. And I'm like, when I say our, I say as a collective, we all agree on one thing for sure. There's no measurable curvature. But you got, and I don't name names because I just don't want to go down to low vibration, but I think we could behave better, as a whole.
Well, sure. We always can. No, you're absolutely right. And mainly because people are pretty desperate to prove that flat earth is wrong. So if they can't find actual proof, the first place they're going to go is to discredit the personality of people talking about it, because that's the logical step. If they're like, well, look at this guy, like, it really does put a little like pressure on the community when they're talking about it. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to change who they are or anything, quite the contrary. But it's just recognizing, okay, well, if one thing truthers do is they'll hit you with so many facts so fast that's impossible to actually be like, okay, that and that and that. Like, they'll be like, well, because of the Federal Reserve and everything is just a lie, and that went to 9/11 and the moon landing, and you're just like, whoa, it's like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you're not trying to talk to me anymore. Like, now you're just being talked at.
Yes.
And that's what I notice that a lot of flat earthers will do sometimes because they're so excited to talk about these things. But it feels more like you're being talked at.
Yes.
And once you do that, once the, like, then people stop that when you're being talked at, think about other times in your life. Usually like a crazy person on the street, or you're at a party that's like an energy vampire.
Or my dad. My dad when I was younger.
Or your dad.
He was just like, he's like, whenever he would talk at me, that's when I rebelled. You know, it's the
Right.
same, it's the same concept, man. Nobody likes to be told what to do or how to think, you know, or anything like that. And you know what? I was just as guilty of it early on too. You know, I
Me too.
from mountaintop. But here, the thing that we always forget, and it's worth remembering and talking about again, is that we're talking about compressing what some of us, 20, 30 years of reading and research and just, like me, like, conspiracy and all that stuff, fringe topics, that was just a hobby for me, man. I was like, this is something that's cool to me. I like it better than anything. I like it better than fiction. And then maybe some of it is fiction, or maybe I like it better than nonfiction, but it was just a hobby. It didn't get weaponized inside of me until 2020. And then it got weaponized. And, when I mean weaponized means that I'm going to start talking about it. And I learned my lessons about talking about it too hard in front of people, or talking, because we're taking in some cases, 20, 30 years of knowledge that we built up inside of our research heads and exploding it onto somebody that hasn't even figured out 9/11 yet. I mean,
Right.
It's going to be smoke going to come out of their ears. They're going to get mad at you and, call you a racist or call you something, whatever name comes to their mind first, whatever. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that we've been in this for a long time. And you have, somebody will have a heart attack if you give it to them all at once,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was listening to Zach actually talk about this on Iron Realm. He was like, if you get mad when you find this stuff out, and the last thing we need is everybody in the world getting mad at once. So
Right.
maybe it's a good thing that it takes time, because if everybody got mad right at once when they find this out, like it could, But part of me kind of thinks that would be cool too. I mean, we need to get mad. I can't. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and I can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, like it could crumble. So, I see. Oh, go ahead.
I was an email came across my email yesterday from Dan Fosso. I believe it came through. I think it went to Mark Sargent, then went to Dan Fosso. Did you see the Golf Digest stuff for the trip to Antarctica, the luxury yacht that's going at the same time as Jaron and Whitsitt are going? Did you see that?
I have not heard anything about this.
This
no.
was new. This was new to me yesterday. Let me see. I'm going to forward it over to you, and then maybe you want to share it or something. This was it was interesting to me, and maybe this was already out there, but I wasn't aware of it. Let me see. I think it's this one here. Yes. So, do you want to just kind of fire me your? I don't want to dox you, but what's your email address? Do I have it already? I don't know.
Oh, what you just?
No, I got it.
I
already got it. I'm sending you an email.
No, I mean it's okay. It's in the chat. It's just don't follow Crum at Gmail.
All right, so you have it. But anyway, you can, if you want to pull it up and just look at the ad. Anyway, December 19th through like the 24th or 25th, there's a luxury yacht going to Antarctica, and it's the guests are interesting. Maybe you want to pull that up and take a look.
What do you mean they're going? They're going there?
They've already sold 3 of the suites on the yacht. What says sold on the website.
Oh, yes.
This was new to me. I knew that there were names. These names have been thrown about. I hadn't seen anything officially. Golf Digest, a message from our partner, Space Sea, SEA. Far from par, Antarctica. Sail to Antarctica with the world's most brilliant minds. And
but they're just sailing. They're not going. They're going on the coastline. Like they can't. unless you're like, what?
It says in a visionary.
I don't understand.
Sail to the majestic waters of the 7th continent. So I don't know what this means exactly. The timing of it was curious to me, and of course it's got Neil deGrasse Tyson, William Shatner, Two astronauts are on there, and looks like an artist and somebody else. Sail with Legends, and some of these rooms are like 35, 40K, and it says they've sold at least 3 of them so far. So it was interesting timing on that. And the reason I bring that up is because I in my gut, I feel like December is going to be a really big Flat Earth hit piece month. And I know like a lot of people, I was talking to Saab about it too on his show, that we kind of, might want to get out in front of it a little bit and just kind of be talking about the fact that I think there's a Netflix series where nobody knows any of the people that are actually in the series. So like, if it'd be one thing, if like, some big name people from the community around us, nobody that we even know. And then they've got this, this final observation bullshit that's going on too. So all of it at the same time lines up for a big hit piece sort of month. And like, maybe we want to be talking about it just to get out in front of it.
Well, they have unlimited resources. They own the media. They got all the money. They have all these puppets. And what do we have? What do we got? So it's a very much an extreme David and Goliath kind of fight.
Yeah, we work from an edited, highly censored platform, and
I mean, truth is accepted? How? Like at first, it's mocked and laughed at, then it's violently opposed, and I still think we're in the
violently
mocked. No, I think we're at the mocked and laughed at phase still.
I was hoping.
I don't think we've even seen how angry the establishment will get once this really starts turning. I think right now it's still. We haven't even barely seen their counter attacks, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, sure, with the whole Google censoring, but it's like, nah, they like, So they're gonna take a boat.
They're gonna strawman and gaslight the fuck out of the community in December. Is basically, I think it's in my personal opinion. I mean, maybe they won't.
Cool.
Maybe the whole thing just, I mean, it's all still good, but like, just to keep your eye, just for everybody that's listening, just to keep your eyes up and, eyes up, mission forward, kind of
Look at this adventure. Sailed to a continent as mysterious as outer space itself.
Interesting choice of language there, yeah.
Mix and mingle with the global elite.
It's space enthusiasts.
Man.
Yeah, so like this was the first like actual advertisement I'd seen. I'd heard that some of these names might be going down there, but I hadn't see. You have to plan these things months out. If you're gonna take a giant.
Yeah, it says you can book it now. Come on, let's book this thing. Let's book.
You want to book it?
I'm gonna get the old credit card out.
Is there a number we can call on there? That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, there's a contact here. S2S2024 at space2c.io. I don't see any prices anywhere.
Yeah, they're right there. So there's 35.5 for the Veranda Suite 1, right?
Really?
35.
Oh, you're right.
35.
Oh, and that's sold out.
It's sold out. So those are all sold out. Let's see. What's the Suite 2? How much is that one? That's almost 40K on that one.
Hey, that's cheaper than what Duffy said it is to shit in a tent. So I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Why wouldn't you just?
I thought it was like $60,000 just to go like sit in a tent.
Couldn't you just put us? You could have just put everybody on this boat, roughly, right? Or at least everyone could share a room on the boat. And
so where does like the price go up? So the price goes up if you're going inland. I guess like this, whatever. I guess like the plane going from somewhere to like in the middle of Antarctica, that's when it's just so expensive.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
I guess to get them onto that ice shelf place wherever.
I think we should. If this is true, like why not? I'm gonna like look into just having our own Antarctica trip. Like if the markup is so ridiculously high,
you want to do a
how much money does it really cost these companies to take
that 91.5 for the winter garden suite? 91.5.
It's sold out.
Wow, dude. Wow.
I mean, really, all we have is this panorama penthouse suite. There's still a few of those left, guys, and this veranda suite 3 and 2. $39,000. But they're not going anywhere that you can actually see what we're trying to see down there, right?
No,
I mean, you
I
can't.
think this would be for. I think this would be for. I think it's press related, and I think like some people in the press will pick up on it, and then it'll spiral into what's going on if they actually do this trip. With Jaron and what's it? I think it'll spiral. It'll kind of fuse up with that also, because once you have a couple of things in the same pot, the press starts to kind of it's like flies on shit, right? And that'll peel off into a story about Antarctica, and then they'll start to hit pieces. I just kind of my hunch on it, and it's more like this is a heads up for everybody, just to like get out in front of it and be like, we can see what you're doing, we see what you guys are up to. It stinks, and whatever. But you know what? We're gonna have a whole bunch of fodder after December. Like I can't wait to watch this Netflix thing. I'm just gonna like watch it and have fun with it, because I mean, we just analyze the shit out of it. Give us something to do,
I just don't understand how like this is any different. If they're just in the water, they're not going to Antarctica. They're just going near it.
They're gonna look at it and hang out with some penguins there, and I don't know that much about the docking there at that station wherever they go, but it's basically a peninsula. It's not. I don't even know that it's actually attached to the continent. I need to look more at that and see where they're supposed to be going is inland. It's like an ice shelf or something inland.
How can they get the boat there? Okay, so here it is. December 18th, they fly into Buenos Aires. Then they charter to Ushuaia. My brother just went there actually, and he really enjoyed it. Then there's a sea day. Oh, nice! Like Antarctica expedition, Antarctica experience.
Looks like they're getting like 5 days, maybe on shore somewhere. Then they disembark back to Ushuaia.
This is the most vague itinerary I've ever seen.
Go down to the highlights, the voyage highlights. Like, what do we got here?
Let's see. Live webinar from the Drake Passage will reach over 200,000 students globally. Okay, so they're going to be live streaming.
Wait, what's that say about lunar orbit? Wait, Neil deGrasse is going to talk. Neil deGrasse and Charlie Duke are going to talk about Earthrise photo captured from the lunar orbit. Oh my God, that's cute.
It's really cute. It's really cute. I love it.
Somebody's gonna bang out 91.5 to go listen.
Oh, look at this. This is where they're going. Okay, Point Wild Elephant Island. Okay, someone look that up.
So
are any of these below the 60th parallel south? Are any of these?
They should be outside of it. Yeah, I mean, like anything. I think halfway between South America.
Where do you have to be to see the 24-hour sun? Isn't that is it the 80th parallel south?
That's what they're calling it on the ice sheet. It's something like 80. Yeah. So anything outside of that, you get to see your, whatever. That's stupid. It's just dumb. I mean, if somebody's rich enough,
look at this. Look at this. December 23rd, Deception Island.
Oh yeah, there's another island down there called Rothschild Island too. Curious, right?
But Deception Island, really?
Yeah.
Are they just running out of names? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Are you kidding? We're going to next go to Giant Scam Island. What the hell?
So then you got a shore landing, Booth Island.
Let me see what Deception Island.
So what's so deceiving about it? Why was it named Deception?
This is only in the 62nd parallel, so that you're not going to see anything. Deception Island. Get out of here. Deception Island?
Yeah. No, it's so dumb. I don't know whether to laugh harder. I laugh harder at that, or laugh at someone who's going to drop, $91,500 to be told fiction on a boat. Yeah, there are people with that kind of money. They're like, I want to go hang out with an astronaut and do this silly shit. But there's going to be people on that thing, allegedly, apparently, if this thing's all true. And then they're going to sit there and they're going to listen to an actor, Neil deGrasse, tell them about a fake Disneyland space story. And they'll get served filet mignon, and they'll be able to look, at maybe what is the, Antarctica, or a version of Antarctica that's off the coast or something like that. You know, it should be because it's at the winter solstice. It should be more ice free than it normally is. So like apparently they can get to shore on this thing. But
there's
I think
only 260 spots available, and there's still spots available. Like I'm shocked that this wasn't sold out immediately.
dude, I just
honestly,
I mean,
well,
this
it's like it's actually a reasonable price considering, you know, it's a cruise and it's all this luxury and it's cheaper than Will Duffy's one. What's going on here? Why wouldn't people?
I mean, why didn't he just book like one room and have all the? I mean, that would be hell on earth. But like,
Well, because they're not actually going anywhere that would solve the flat Earth like this is just they're going around way more north to solve the 24-hour sun problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, that just I'd heard the names about people going down there, but I hadn't seen anything like set up as an advertisement for selling space on a boat. And then suddenly this thing comes out yesterday. So I don't know. Maybe you guys want to take a deep dive on it. Like I know Nicole dropped into it for a little bit. She found the business is based out of Reno, and it's a 3-letter business. So it's probably just like that's just an address for its shell.
Can we see if Dave Weiss can become a sponsor? Let's see. Like, can we get the Flat Earth map to become a sponsor here? Wouldn't that be great?
Maybe there's a phone. Is there a phone number? I wish there was a phone number, dude. That would be awesome.
It won't let me. The become a sponsor just goes to Untitled. I don't know. That would be nice. Why partner?
Partner with okay, so like, what is that? Let's see. Future of. Let's see here.
I don't know. That's wild. That is wild.
It is, man. I mean, like, you know, even if even if I okay, so let's just say like I knew that Neil deGrasse Tyson is an actor, and I know that he's lying about our cosmology, and he's just paid to do it.
You think he's lying, or he's just?
Nah,
I don't think he's lying. I think he has so much smoke blown up his ass. And he's just around people that are just like, oh yeah, Neil, whatever you say, that's
true. If he really believed
yes,
what he's saying, he would debate someone from our community, and he's refused to do it. So he knows.
No, that's not true.
Oh yes, he has never accepted a debate with anyone that's actually from the community. He was set up to do Eric Dubay, and then he walked away from that one. And so, like, to me, that tells you everything. But anyway, the point I was going to make was like, even if I was rich and I just wanted to go like hang out on a nice boat and look at Antarctica or whatever, like Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't even interesting enough, even as an actor, for me to want to go listen to his fiction, in front of a teleprompter and in front of a big screen on a yacht. It's just like there's better, more fun things to do than to go listen to fairy tale bullshit on a yacht and look at big chunks of ice. I mean, it just. To me, like this just stinks. This stinks of some sort of stunt, so they can give, focus on Antarctica, and then they can peel over to the TFE, and
it's just a bunch of rich people who want to drink wine, drink Chardonnay all day long, and sniff their own farts. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do. They're like, ooh, this is a great Riesling. That's all they're gonna do.
Look at these two guys. Who's these two guys at the bottom? Who is that? Look at these guys. I'm very important. You're very. I am very important too. How space exploration is perceived. Look at this. FOS is catalyzing a shift in how space exploration is perceived and pursued. There you go. There's your two words there: perceived and pursued. So basically, what they're doing is a jobs program and keeping people believing and perceiving space and pursuing it, even though they never go there. Look how important these guys are. Look at them looking at each other. You're very important. I'll give you a hand job later. What about you? I'll hook you up later. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. These guys, dude, these guys are, these are people you don't want to be around. They suck. And if
this guy on the left here is like, it's like, wait, did you forget to bring your adrenochrome? You look terrible, dude.
I know. And
the other guy's like, yeah, do you have any extras? Like, yeah. It's like, yeah, no problem. It's just, obviously I brought an extra adrenochrome for you here.
Yeah. I always love these pictures. I always love these pictures of very important people, like talking very important things, like with their hands in front of them, like they're saying this really, but it's really just like, that's just the picture. It's just a picture of two guys looking like they're talking about something very important.
I wonder if I'm going to get if this show is going to be taken down for what I just said.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everything. We're an entertainment show. Don't take anything we say serious.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you say that.
I know, but that's like, this is what's going to happen, and we're fine with it. I mean, this group of people.
Thank you, Maria. We do make a good team.
But this group of people, I don't speak for everybody, but just in aggregate, like, we're so based that that we've gotten used to being able to take the arrows so much that like we kind of have a superhero like thing going about us now, where it's just like, okay, fire another one at us. Fuck you. It's like, what else you got? You got another hit piece? You got another behind the curve you're going to throw at us and try to do that again, which you already turned it into a hit piece after it wasn't supposed to be. And then like, what else you got, man? Bring it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just bring that shit, motherfucker. I'm like, I'm ready. I've been wanting to debate, we got a gets it on our side. Do you want to try to fuck with that guy? Come on, bring it.
Well, there's somebody who became a flat earther and now he's not anymore. And Will Duffy found him, and what a crazy backstory he's got.
I haven't seen this. You want to show this to me? I want to see it with fresh eyes.
Okay, I listened to it the other day. I had to. It was tough at first, but I wouldn't mind doing a breakdown if you're down. This is kind of funny. It will be
one guy that went to flat Earth and then came back to the globe. I want to see this. This is gonna be awesome. Show it to me.
Oh my god. Okay, I listened to his let's just.
I haven't seen it.
So
it's gonna be fresh eyes.
Yeah, no, I mean this is educational, guys. Most people are just like, I really don't want to watch this because it's so cringe. But this was 6 days. Hold on a sec here. All right. Okay, so this is a 35-minute video, so this probably won't take up too much time. You down to do this? I think we need to do this. This needs to be done.
I'll do a deep dive on it. Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Okay. I'm going to share a screen. Okay. Ooh.
We're just gonna have to like pause this like every 3 minutes. Oh, so okay. All right. So let's get it.
Okay. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me I need to put this tab on another screen so I can actually do this right. Put that over here. Okay. Much better. All right. Hold on. How do I
like this expansive building?
I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay.
Better.
Let me just go up a little bit farther.
Oh, you gave me the big screen. This is awesome. What's up, guys? I'm going to shout you out while he's doing that. Spicy Sarah, Tony, Corey Ellis, Rico, Nico. I saw that you got that number, Nico. I wrote it down for the yacht company, so we might play around with that a little bit. DJ, Gene Edited. Who else we got in here? Dogs.
Sorry, guys.
Stephanie, hello.
Things. Oh, are you there? Sorry.
NDB, Maria Walker.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, did it go away? Singe Man.
Are we back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I mean, we're broadcasting over on this one, so
all right. I don't know. It all went to shit. So, all right. Let's just go from here.
Sander, what's up? Mojo Shop. Conspiracy Music Guru. Actually caught you when you were awake over there, buddy.
I don't know why I did that.
So if you're just tuning in, this is the first and only guy to our knowledge that went to flat Earth and then went back to the globe.
Any rock fans out there? We had a really good time.
This guy.
So you can start guessing, and then I'll keep giving more clues until someone figures it out.
Oh, this is your. Oh, wait. Okay.
Wait, which one?
No, this is
Did
the
not
one
know
where
Taylor
this is
Swift
one
was
where you're.
wrong.
No, this is it. This is it. Okay, so here we go.
So just real quick, just so people can kind of get to know you, you are just one thing you are is a songwriter and a poet. Is that right?
True.
Anything you want to tell us about that?
Sure, man. I actually have some of my songs up on Spotify and YouTube. They're not.
That sounds like a flat earther already. Yeah.
Am Learner on Spotify, YouTube.
I checked
Apple
it
Music.
out.
You can check out my songs. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that, so I will definitely be checking that out.
No, you won't.
All right. Well, let's talk about why. So I don't do very many lives with TFE. That was never originally part of my plan, but some circumstances have arisen over the times. And so this is my third live that I'm doing, and I thought this was going to be a good one. So let's start by talking about what happened to you 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, you obviously, since you're in the music world, you knew that she was in a band, and talk about a little bit about her and kind of what you heard through the grapevine.
Look at the placement of that.
Yeah,
globe.
she was really
Perfect.
cool, great singer, just a unique person. And I found out through some friends of hers that she was a flat earther. And I really didn't take it seriously. I thought maybe she knew the earth was a globe and just was kind of pretend, like just saying that it's flat to get attention or something. I did not give it a second thought when I first heard that. But over time of just knowing her, I decided to look into the flat earth rabbit hole.
Great. And if I recall, she sent you a video from a pretty well-known flat earther.
She did. She sent me an interview with Eric Dubé, being interviewed by a fellow named Mel Fabregas. And as I listened to the interview, I became really intrigued and curious. And I really thought there was something to this. And it, it grabbed me. And I decided to go down to Eric Dubé's website and watch all his flat earth materials. And yeah, it happened fairly quickly for me. Like it was probably a matter of days.
Bullshit.
Days.
That
Bullshit.
I became a flat earther.
Days.
Bullshit.
You don't become a flat earther in days.
No. Bullshit.
No, you didn't.
What
This
happened
guy,
is he got a boner. He just got a boner for a girl. Is what
he's
happened.
like, oh, a girl's a flat earther. I want to bang her. Oh, totally. I'll become a flat earther. There's no way anybody can be a flat earther in 3 days. No freaking way. It's
No, you're
psychologically impossible.
No, you're still pissed off at everything for for me it was weeks. Weeks I'm just angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry as fucking shit. I'm like, fuck this bullshit. You know?
You
No way.
You can't retain and sleep and let it settle. There's no freaking way. Can you guys agree with me? Is anybody in the chat here became a flat earther in 3 days? Do you think that's possible? If you think that's possible, give me a 1. Give me a 2 if you think that's just literally impossible. I think it's impossible to just be like, oh, I'm a flat earther now. It took me like 3 months just to even be like on the fence. You know? Like, that's ridiculous.
Well,
Let's
at
keep
least
going.
It took me a couple fucking weeks just
go ahead.
A couple fucking weeks just to get over the anger. You know, not even talking about flat. I was just fucking pissed.
Right.
You know, so like, I'm sorry, dude. That's already bullshit. Keep going.
Yeah, so this is just so you guys know, heads up, this is the one guy who became a flat earther and realized the errors of his ways. So far, it took him 3 days to become a flat earther because of a girl he wanted to bang. Showed him some stuff. This is what I see so far.
I believe you had a bit of an emotional reaction to accepting flat earth. You want to talk about that?
An emotional reaction. I mean, yeah,
It gave you something.
yeah. The flat Earth movement, it gave me some hope because I thought that, man, if this Earth is flat and we can blow the lid off this thing and show everybody that it's flat, I thought, man, that would just cause this huge reset in the world. We would all have to reconsider everything, and I thought it would just lead to a better world. And you know, I was so moved by it. I was so hopeful about that. You know.
Yeah. Now, Eric Dubé. So you've watched a lot of his content. You're convinced of his content. At what point in your journey did you attempt to reach out to him?
Fairly early, I sent him messages over Facebook Messenger with questions that I had. And he was very, very kind and I thought sincere. You know, he always messaged me back. Yeah.
So so you guys kind of developed a bit of a relationship, kind of like a digital relationship online.
Yeah, to some extent, yes.
That's great. So it's good to hear that he would respond to your questions and communicate with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, once Eric Dubé created his Patreon, I believe you were one of like his first Patreons.
I subscribed. I gave a small amount of money every month, but I gave money every month in order to have private messaging privileges with Eric.
Yeah, great. What would you consider was the main driver behind becoming a Patreon of his?
I liked that he hadn't set up a Patreon account up to that point. He wasn't. It appeared he wasn't out for money. You know, he you know, and he put out a video saying, "Hey, look, you know, I'm ready to set up a Patreon. I'm moving into the next phase of my journey. I'm moving back to America, and I could use the money," kind of thing. And so he set up a Patreon account, and so I was, you know, because I'd been so affected by him, I was moved to become a Patreon right away.
Cool. Now, I'm guessing, I haven't experienced this, but when you become flat Earth, that is like an internal decision that you make in your own life. But once you really make that decision and you kind of dive in head first, that's when the bigger decisions come and the things that you pretty much have to do unless you're going to, you know, live in a secret world. And so one of the first things I'm guessing people do is to tell their family. So I'm guessing you told your family you were flat Earth. Talk about that. Was it hard? Was it easy? What was the reaction?
Yeah, I did. I have two awesome kids, and I told them that I was a flat earther. My daughter, I think she kind of laughed about it and just thought, "Oh, that's awesome, Dad. You're such a quirky guy, you know," and stuff. But my son was really engaged me and really wanted to, like, we had some heated discussions, never hurtful, I don't think, you know, but we had heated discussions. We'd watch videos together. You know, my son, I don't know if he was embarrassed by me becoming a flat earther. I guess I could ask him that, but he was really not supportive at all of my.
Yeah,
my
Gene
choice.
says that it sounds like he's making
But
it up.
he did try
I
to-
couldn't agree more. There's
Trying to
something really
convince
weird
me
about
that I was
this.
wrong. Yeah.
Which I think anybody that loves another person, that's what they would do, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, if you're comfortable sharing, your son ended up putting a line in one of his songs that he wrote about you becoming a flat earther. Are you comfortable sharing that line?
Yeah. It's I don't know if I have every little word right, but he said, the chorus of his song said, "I traded God for Eric Dubé. My family doesn't believe, so they're not saved."
Okay. I just think
That doesn't even
perspective is
rhyme.
powerful.
Not even
Perspective
good
is not
lyric.
always right, but perspective is
Terrible
reality
rhyming.
in so many instances for people. And so I think it's interesting that from his perspective, you traded, God for Dubé, and that's kind of what he was receiving. Now, taking a position like flat Earth or
Richie says
any other conspiracy theory, taking a
his
position
name's
that
not
you
a good
believe
start.
in
Amoral.
something, that's something that can be
Isn't that
undone,
weird?
meaning it
Not a
can be
good start.
reversed. You can change your mind down the road if you are presented with more evidence or whatever. But you made a decision, and this decision you made once you became flat Earth was permanent. Before you talk
Hey,
about
Alex
it,
Michael, that's hilarious.
I'm going to make a prediction right now, which is that people, I've just been doing this long enough. People are going to contact me and they're going to say Amorel is a fake flat earther. They're going to say he's a liar. They're going to say you're an actor. Maybe you're on the NASA payroll. But we have some pretty solid evidence that you were a flat earther because you did something permanent when you became flat Earth. What was that?
I did. I went and I got my right calf tattooed with the Gleason's flat Earth map.
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
pretty intense decision, right?
Not if you're
Yeah,
Rico.
it was.
Yeah, tattoos mean something, right? People
put anything
make
on there for a
decision, and
bet.
I'm generalizing here, but I think people make a decision to get a tattoo for, something that's strongly held that they believe, in their life, something
Well, at
that's
least show it to us.
impacted them.
At least
And
show
so
us
that's
the
Yeah,
tattoo.
let's
pretty
see it.
significant
Let's
that
see
you
it.
have that.
Show it. Show me your tattoo.
For sure.
Just to give you a little sympathy here. If we get to Antarctica in December with TFE and there's a 24-hour sun and the globe is proven, you can take comfort in the fact that the AE map is a projection of the globe.
True.
Ha!
True.
Wow.
Okay, let's see. Now,
that, dude. What's your
while
tattoo,
you were
man?
flat Earth, and I appreciate this about you, by the way, is that you would watch the opposition. So you would watch flat Earth debunker channels, and you'd watch videos where people were, trying to debunk flat Earth. Because tell us, before you tell us what you saw specifically, tell us why you did that. What was the pull? What was the main reason? What did you get out of it?
Part of it was I enjoyed the debunk, and then I'd go back to the debunk of the debunk, and I just like the conversation developing online. It wasn't that I was doubting flat Earth at that time. It's just I wanted to get involved in the conversation and comment on the videos and try to
This dude
win
could be Don
people over
Pettit.
to flat Earth.
Yeah.
I can relate. I've enjoyed in my journey through all of this, I've enjoyed the flat Earth content more than the globe content.
Huh.
So if we just want to listen to people that agree with us, maybe it feels good or maybe it's fun, but I'm like, no, I want to hear what people think. I want to hear people who disagree with me. I want to hear arguments I've never heard. I want to just hear new things. It's a way for me to expand my horizons, and to just grow. Which channels would you watch on the flat Earth debunk side?
Lots. I can't remember. I specifically remember that Professor Dave. I watched some of his stuff.
Oh boy.
That's one, and but the one that got me was Dave McKeegan.
Oh Jesus
Or
Christ.
is that his name? The fellow that's going? Yeah.
Yeah.
With Rusty, the dog. Yeah. He the way he approached it, it's like he didn't berate flat earthers. He just it's like he was out to make allies of his enemies. He wanted to convert flat earthers. He didn't want to berate them, and he wanted to protect people from getting sucked into the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And he just had a kindness about him,
Okay, can we just pause?
when
it
I
for a
saw
second?
the
Yeah,
video,
yeah. Absolutely. Let's
All right.
let's
I
pause
mean,
there.
let's just talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to see his tattoo. I mean, just like to see that. But aside from that, like everything, this is very milquetoast. It's very milquetoast response so far. And somebody had said in the chat, can't remember. I think it was Gene Edited. It was like, it just sounds like he's sort of making it up on the fly. And obviously, he mentioned Professor Dave and Dave McKeegan just right there on the top. I mean, that should tell you everything. He's either dumb as a box of rocks or he's an actor. I mean, it reminded me the way he was talking. It reminded me of Don Pettit, actually. But like, you're like, that's really milquetoast answer. That's like really middle of the gravel road, sort of like, hey, you know, I'm not in the ditch over here. I'm not in the ditch over here. I'm just kind of cruising it straight down the middle of what you would expect someone who's acting like they're coming back from being flat. That's my impression so far.
Every flat earther I ever talked to, they talk with like a certain energy that's like, yeah, and then I had this experience, and then I had this, and you could really tell that they actually experienced it. This guy sounds like he didn't really go through this. It's just like, and then I wasn't on this channel, and I'm like this. It doesn't feel personal.
There's no watermarks. Like there's. I can remember all the watermarks. You know, I can remember one day it was like, oh damn, like over and over and over again. You can recall them with clarity. And this guy's, he's kind of describing this very vanilla, middle of the road sort of person who's saying some of the things that you might expect to hear from someone who allegedly left flat Earth. Anyway, go ahead, keep going. There's more to say.
No, you're right. You're right. And honestly, if you, like when you become a flat earther, you see how atrocious and rude the globe defenders are, and for the most part, like flat earthers just want to get a point across. And they sound way more, you know, knowledge. That was my experience, and that was one of the biggest proofs for flat Earth. Was exactly what this guy's saying was the opposite experience. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
because I was looking for globe proofs to destroy flat Earth, and because they were so awful and so mean, that was a flat Earth proof. And so this guy's first proof of the globe is pretty much the exact opposite experience that everyone's that became a flat earther had, which is strange. So,
that's my impression so far. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh wait,
because I've seen other arguments that might have been better or something, but for some reason that one just got me thinking, just got me questioning. Like maybe I'm wrong, you know.
Yeah.
What did he?
So I've actually heard this from others. You're not the first person to tell me this, but people have said that, and maybe there's more, but people have specifically said that Dave McKeegan and myself approached this space differently than a lot of other people in terms of our temperament, just the words that we use, the arguments that we use. And again, I've seen that, right? Like it's funny because a lot of flat earthers say a lot of bad things about me and they get upset at me. And I'm just like, you guys, like, I am not calling you names. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not doing any of those things. Like, I don't understand why I'm getting that reaction, but I have heard that.
But it is.
So I'm glad that you shared that. It's important for people on the globe side to know how people on the flat earth side view the globe defenders / debunkers, etc.
Yeah.
So I think, by the way, we first met today. So just so people know, we've emailed in the past because of TFE, which we're going to get to now, but we just met today for the first time. And the phrase that you used was that Dave McKeegan's video about the sun on the underneath side of the airplane wings was kind of like the first chink in your armor. Yeah?
For sure.
And then I believe it was like 2 days later, you discovered the final experiment.
It was, if I remember correctly, I know it was the same week at least.
Okay.
Wait, hold on a second. Pause that. Wait. Is this like a week from his flat Earth awakening, quote unquote? Is that what he said?
No, I mean, he said he became a flat earther 3 years ago. It took him 3 days, I think. And he watched the Dave McKeegan video probably like, I'm assuming like 4 or 5, 6 months ago. Something about a sun being under a plane. I'm not familiar with this Dave McKeegan proof, but I'm sure it's retarded.
The Sarge caught something there. He was like, there we go. The final experiment was the main reason of why he switched back. Interesting. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
When I found out that Dubé was on the list, I Patreon messaged him and I said, hey man, you might get a chance to actually go to Antarctica. You're like 4th on this list David Weiss and some other people turn this down, you're on the list, man, and this is going to be super cool. And
before you get to his response, I like the fact that you were excited. So let's talk about why you were excited about the final experiment.
I was excited because, you know what, it's like, yeah, you know, this is a chance for flat earthers to put money where their mouth is. This is a real thing. Like, this actually is going to settle the debate.
So there we go. Stop it right there. Just
Yeah,
pause that fucking shit right there. Right
and
there.
So
Pause
I
it.
love hearing
Pause
your
it.
story because
I'm coming. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just stop right there. This rhetoric of this is going to close the book once and for all is very curious language. Just as rhetoric between the two of them. Okay. So you just basically said what Will Duffy's been saying. We can finally close the book. We can finally stop this nonsense. We can finally, and like the community at large is very much on the book saying, I don't give a fuck what they see down there. It doesn't debunk the rest of the stuff that we found out, which is it's all over the place that it's flat. But he's using that rhetoric. Let's pay attention to that rhetoric. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. Like he's basically he's trying to. I can't tell if he might think that he's doing a good thing deep down. He might actually think that he's on the right side because, and he literally thinks that flat Earth is a problem for humanity, and so he's like, he found this guy. He's like, oh, let's hear your story. So far, what I've seen is he became. Oh, thank you, Justin, for buying some memberships. So far, what I've seen is he became a flat earther in a few days because of another girl, musician. I'm assuming. She would probably. I swear. I don't know who this girl is. I'm looking at this guy. I don't want to just be like, I don't want to assume anything about him. I don't know much about him, but in my experience, a guy that looks like that will meet I'm sorry. You look like this. You're an aging musician. I don't know what his personal life is, but he's going to be around girls who are also musicians. Most likely they're younger. And he's like, oh, cool, flat earth. In my opinion, that's how he became a flat earther. I'm sorry. Thank you for everybody becoming a member. I don't want to just be generalizing here and being stereotypical, but come on, people. You become like, I think it's more likely that a guy will say he's anything to get with a girl, and this is more of an example of that. And he probably entertained it, but I don't think he actually internalized it. I don't think he was nearly as curious. I don't think he knows nearly as much as what most of us needed to know to make that switch. Because
when you have the experience of flat Earth, it is a sea change, and it is a sea change in your life. It's a sea change in everything, and it's so much so that you remember all the stuff that you went through when you first started looking at it, and you can recall details. You can recall these feelings. You can recall like life-shattering kind of moments that also led to your rebirth, so to speak. I don't want to call it rebirth, but just like your awakening, or however you want to describe it. He's just milquetoast. I mean, this is like what you would expect someone to say if they had to act out a part to play in a part.
Right.
And he's not touching on anything. There's no details. There's no. I remember this one day. I was just like, I remember how I lost, all these people over here. He talks about his son. His son wrote a song about him. I know.
These things are not proofs. These are so personal.
Yeah.
You're right. And honestly, I did a deep dive. I tried to find everything I could on this guy. And when I was looking it up, he does have like a GoFundMe somewhere where it's the most poor descriptive GoFundMe I've ever seen. And the title was just, we want money for his friend who's a girl who's not a flat earther anymore, and there's no expectation of what they're going to do with the money or anything. It's just, I saw that he recently put out a GoFundMe. This guy, I don't have the link in front of me, and I'm afraid to make my computer work any harder with all these tabs open. But if somebody did want to do a deep dive, It does exist. So, anyways, we're this isn't a very long video, so we can power through this because so far he was a flat earther, and so far he's like he's making his way back to the globe because his son made a song. One Dave McKean video about a son and a plane, and that I have no idea what that's all about.
How that is.
And right now he's talking about Eric Dubé and how he was a patron of his. And let's see where this goes.
My goal with this was to excite both sides. And I was actually more worried about the globe side than the flat earth side based on how much flat earthers talk about Antarctica, how much they talk about going there, how much they talk about the sun and the 24-hour sun. But it hasn't happened as I had hoped. And so I love to hear that from your perspective, you saw the experiment, you were like, this is exciting. And then you immediately reach out to Dubé. You're expecting he's going to be excited like you. So how did he respond?
He actually said, I don't share your enthusiasm about this final experiment. He said it's a straw man. And he said, and then he started saying like weird stuff. Like he said, even if there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, it might be a second sun, or it might be a sun simulator. And when I read that, I was just like, oh. And I couldn't even respond. I couldn't even bring myself to respond. I just unsubscribed from his Patreon, and I ate the humble pie and changed my mind. It's
Sorry, dude.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry.
Oh my
Sorry,
God! Dude. That's it?
That's it.
That's it? Yeah, I don't like how Eric Dubé said something, so now I believe this. Are you kidding me? This is your story?
So this is fascinating to me. Since the beginning of TFE, I literally have done as much as I possibly can, both on the channel and privately. I've tried to help the flat earth side look better, and I've tried to help them not look bad. Meaning if one person makes an argument, I'll either say or reach out to them and be like, hey, I don't think you want to make that argument because it's not going to make you look good, and things of that nature. And so one of the things I've tried to get flat earthers to do, which has not worked, is not make excuses before we go. I think that is the number one mistake that the flat earth side has made.
Hold on a second. Just pause that fucking bullshit right there. All right. So that right there, he's literally saying, don't think of the things that we're thinking of right now ahead of time so that we don't get fucking shit on in December.
Yeah.
We're you're damn right we're going to do that. You're not going to convince us to do otherwise. You know, firstly, that's like trying to make the future happen right now so that, I'm gonna make sure that you guys don't think about some of the things that could be a possibility. Like, what does that even mean? What is this guy fucking talking about? Anyway, go ahead.
We just don't want them to have any problems with our logic, and we're going to call any contrary problems with our logic excuses. And that's a huge gaslighting, like toxic way to like handle this.
Toxic gaslighting.
He's basically just gaslighting anybody who has something legit to say about this. We just want to just curb any of that. So this is, oh my God.
Let's just not
immediately saying this is not a good idea to go to Antarctica. It's not a good final experiment. It's not going to prove anything. And here's what the globe side might do to cheat, and here's what the globe side might do to lie. That reaction immediately by the flat earth side, I think it does tell us something about what they truly believe. Because if we are to go back,
fuck this guy, dude. It's like he just said he said he's using it in a shotgun approach rhetoric. So he's just saying, now I guess that would be a straw man, but it's basically just shotgunning the entire FE community as a they, and then we've got this whole narrative running between the two of them. Okay, keep going.
No, you're right, but no, okay. For the benefit of devil's advocate here, like I will say that it is true. Like if you are a flat earther, you have to like see the immense concerted effort to be deceptive. And yes, he's not half wrong. But what Duffy doesn't seem to understand is that he's not even willing to entertain that there is any kind of cover up of some sort. He thinks the moon landing was real. He, to him, it's absurd. And we don't. That's it.
Yeah. So like, go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as the two of them together, working together as tandem, okay, the rhetoric is definitely going in one direction. The rhetoric is moving the entire conversation to a place where they want it to go. All right. Yeah. So like, he's got the one guy out of 1 billion that's went allegedly from flat back to globe. Okay. So now he's got this narrative moving forward and he's got his rhetoric moving forward. So let's see how it finishes up.
Yeah.
And look at the comments that Eric Dubay and Flat Earth Dave and Jaron Campanella and Austin Whitsitt and Dean Odell, like the list goes on and on. If we were to go look at the comments they made before TFE, their confidence about Antarctica, their confidence about there not being a 24-hour sun, this reaction doesn't jive with everything they've been saying for years and years and years. And so I think it's fascinating that for you, as someone who was in it, you were in it, you got the tattoo, you became the Patreon, you had a bit of a relationship with Eric Dubay.
Yeah, guys, this is what all flat earthers do. First off, we get our tattoo, then we join Eric Dubay's Patreon. That's what we do.
Communicated back and forth. For him to be like, no, this is not a good idea. It's not going to prove anything. They might make a fake sun. Yada yada yada. That's devastating for someone like you to hear.
It was. I mean, it really. Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really looked up to Eric Dubay for 3 years. Really trusted his sincerity, and that all came crashing down when I read that message.
Yeah, I believe. Now, this is something I can't.
Hey, first off, if everybody here became a globe earther because Eric Dubay said something that rubbed them the wrong way, this movement would be garbage. Like, I didn't throw the whole fucking globe away every time I heard Eric Dubay go, "The fuck? What the hell did that fool just say?" It's all Eric Dubay is doing. He's not even making this shit up. Like, he's just repeating, like, books that have been established for hundreds of years. It was an opportunist at a good time when, like, the camera was out and it was just started. These aren't his ideas. No one's associating he also
shotgunned the entire community into the Antarctic sun thing that if we see that, then it's a globe. Nobody's, the people that I respect the most in this community, we don't give a shit what they see down there. I don't give a fuck, because like this coffee cup caustic phenomenon or whatever happens down there. I don't give a shit if there's 5 suns. But he just shotgunned the entire community into this 24-hour sun, and that's the narrative that they're going to push regardless. So if it's light down there for some reason all night long, they're going to run with that line. And guess what? Nobody reads the articles; they just read the headlines. All right. So he's pushing this rhetoric with this Amorel guy over here, and that's what people are taking out of this stuff. They're not taking the details out of it. They're taking this narrative, this rhetoric that he's pushing forward. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, no, 100%. So far, this guy is the saddest reason. I was expecting by now in the video there would be a little bit more attention to actual proofs instead of, I don't like the way Eric Dubay said something. I mean, that's right. as if Eric Dubay's opinion on something is what changes our actual physical reality. He's combining an opinion of a guy on one thing with what is real for everybody. And it's such a strange leap that they're going here. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that too. Like when I was talking about the sea change earlier, like the sea change is so massive that it's not just one comment from Eric Dubay that would draw you back, to the insanity of the globe.
No,
you would never be that way.
That means that
he never went through to begin with.
No, it was a very shaky, if anything, most likely he was like, well, because he said that, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a flat earther anymore to get laid. That sounds what I'm hearing. That's it.
Okay.
All right, let's try to power through this.
Prove, but I do believe that there are genuine flat earthers out there. I even believe some of the leaders who, if we could call them that, the ones with the biggest followings are genuine flat earthers. But someone told me toward the beginning, they were like, Will, one of the things the final experiment is going to do is it's going to help show us who the real flat earthers are and who the fake ones are, who the grifters are. And I was like, really? And I think they might be right. Someone who is a genuine flat earther, someone who is honestly searching for truth and wants to know the truth and wants to follow the evidence where it leads on the flat earth side is going to love the idea of going to Antarctica. They're going to love the idea of getting a free trip if they possibly could get that. And then once they see what happens, react after that. They're not going to do what the Dave Weisses have done, what the Eric Dubays have done so far. And so this is a firsthand example of someone who we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt with 3 years of communications, the tattoo, the whole 9 yards was in this, that believed this.
Tattoo.
And just that reaction by Dubay was enough for you to be like, you know what? He's not the real deal.
Yeah. Well said.
Okay, so now let's talk about
well
party,
said.
Okay.
I second that.
You got a call from a fellow flat earth friend, and she invited you to a party. And so talk to me about the invitation to the party, what you said in response, and then we'll go into what happened at the party after that.
Sure. Yeah. I told her, hey, I'm not a flat earther anymore, and she said, oh, you can still come to this party, and maybe I'll introduce you to some of my friends. They'll change your mind back and everything. And yeah, so I went.
Oh my God.
Okay, great.
Well,
So
I don't know about you,
appreciate-
but I mean,
That's
I am
it.
convinced it can't be flat, guys. You've heard this guy's story. He's laid it out for us. We're stupid. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I gotta get it. Turn my. This is so bad. This is worse than I thought it was gonna be. I literally thought he would at least try to have some proofs that would make me think. This is like, I don't like to bang anymore. And,
yeah.
All right, we gotta
Appreciate
get through
that
this
you were
video.
Okay.
up front with her, like, hey, we have this thing in common in our relationship. We're both flat earthers. Maybe that's why you're inviting me. I'm not a flat earther, but I'm still willing to come. And so sounds like she was accommodating, and you go to this party. Now, we never know what's going to happen in our lives. We never know what single individual event is just going to completely take our life into a new direction. And so I believe you met someone at this party that is pretty significant.
Yeah, for sure. I met Judy there. She's pretty cool, and yeah, we didn't really get a chance to connect at that party, but I thought she was really nice and stuff, and yeah, it was
There
good.
you go. There it is.
So you meet
All right,
Judy
well,
at this party.
that sums it up for
and
me.
you guys
It's a ball,
eventually
guys.
start talking. You eventually start to kind of form a relationship, and that relationship gets pretty serious. Yeah.
It does. Wow,
What?
everything that she shows me about herself is just awesome, and she just loves everything about me, and I've never ever felt this way about anyone in my life, So,
Yeah. I love it. It's a true romantic story. So
It's a real, true
let's talk about
romantic
now
story.
the big news, which is that you proposed.
I did.
Oh my
And
God.
so just talk a little bit about the
up,
proposal
Saad? Welcome,
and
man.
what she said, and then we'll talk about what happened afterward.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I had finished spending the weekend with her. She lives 2 hours away, and I was driving home, and I just had a big idea to propose to her. So I called her when I got home, and she was waking up from a nap, and yeah, she said she would marry me.
Awesome. Yeah, I like to tell people when you know, you know.
I had to throw that in there. I'm
Interesting
sorry.
story. I don't know if I've ever told this before, but I might as well right now.
Oh, let's
Which
hear
is
it,
that
Will.
when I had the thought that I'm ready to propose to who I was dating at the time, she's now my wife, but she told me no before I popped the question.
Classic.
So that is a rare situation. So my wife is incredibly intuitive, and she got a strong feeling that I was going to propose. And instead of dealing with the awkward situation of having to say no after I asked, she said no preemptively. So interesting story there. I ended up waiting a full year, and then I proposed after a year, and I got a yes that time. So it's all good.
Wow. Yeah, cool.
Creepy.
All right, now this is where
Creep. I'm sorry.
things get
When
a
I
little
heard
bit
no,
interesting.
I just
And
meant
I'm
I
still,
just need to harass her
wrapping
for a
my mind
year.
around it. But I do think it's fun, and I love this. So obviously, you propose, you get a yes. You're on cloud nine. You're as happy as can be. What's the next thing that you did?
I emailed you and told you that I would love it if you married us down in Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So crazy. So this is something that I would have never. This is a curveball. Okay. When I created TFE, obviously I'm a pastor, but one of the things I never considered was the idea of performing a marriage in Antarctica. And so when I got your email, I was like, wow, we hadn't communicated in quite a while. I hadn't heard from you since way back when you were telling me about Eric Dubé. And I was just like processing this. And I was like, you know what? I think that would be pretty cool. I actually think that would be very neat. Now, I actually know someone who got married.
I have to just.
This is just painful.
Where is this going?
It's painful, dude. It's painful.
You know what's even more painful is if you read, and I'll show you guys at the end of this, all the comments are people that are like, oh yeah, good for you for finally seeing the light. Great story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
What is going on? I actually came here hoping that maybe he found some proof that I didn't look at that would make me think. No, it's like, well, there was this girl, and then that didn't work out, and then like I got this tattoo, and then my son made a song that made me feel kind of wee, and then Eric Dubé, he said something I didn't like emotionally, and then that's all the evidence I need to know that flat Earth is wrong. Like, and this,
that was pretty much at that point, at the point where he said the reason that he allegedly went back. That was enough. That was enough for me.
Sad.
You can't. If the sea change happened to you, that's dumb. So he's an actor, or he's dumb as a box of rocks.
He's dumb as a box of rocks.
In Antarctica.
He's been trying to get laid for
Anthony
3 years.
Powell, if you Google him, he will come up immediately. He has spent more time in Antarctica than anybody I know on planet Earth. He's a Kiwi. He's from New Zealand, and I believe he actually met his wife in Antarctica, and they got married in Antarctica, which I just think is so cool.
You met in Antarctica?
But this story,
where, at the discotheque? How do you meet in Antarctica? You have to go. What?
I just love, and of course, I'd be willing to marry you guys in Antarctica.
I mean, what are like the Tinder radius out there? You got like swipe right. Oh, it's the only one. Like, what the fuck?
But
that doesn't make any sense.
We're going to have to do some crowdfunding because getting to Antarctica is not the cheapest thing to do in the world. And so you've set up a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And so great. So I'm gonna link to the GoFundMe in this video. I'll probably make another video about it so that people can look at it and consider donating. But I think this would be a really cool story of someone in the middle of this debate, flat Earth versus globe debate, who is personally impacted by the final experiment. to end up in Antarctica with us and tie in the knot in
Does
Antarctica.
anybody know how cold it is in Antarctica? Is nobody factoring this shit in? Do you want this girl to be walking down the aisle all slow in the middle of a fucking snowstorm, like 100 degrees under? They're like, da, 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 da. I'm doing the president's song because I can't think of the, but like. I mean, and you're just freezing, like, hurry this fucking shit up. Will she just get to the goddamn altar already and say, yes, this sucks? This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. It's so dumb. All right, we got to get to the, I mean, we're almost done.
I really hope this works out. It's obviously a big hurdle because we're going to have to crowdfund for both you and Judy, but that's okay. We've seen crazy things happen. When we were crowdfunding for Lisbeth, someone contacted me and said they wanted to just kind of finish the GoFundMe off, which was awesome. And so I think there might be people that are really moved by your story and excited to see this. This would definitely make our Antarctica trip a lot more interesting if we've got a wedding to perform there. And I don't know if a wedding has ever happened at Union Glacier. So who knows? That could be a first.
Yeah, and I do think that even if it doesn't happen, I think just the fact that I was willing to try to make it happen, I think that's going to touch Judy's heart, and that's what I'm trying to do here, and that's why I'm doing this. So, yeah,
absolutely, I absolutely love the idea. Money's a bit of a necessary evil in our lives. If we could get rid of that, at least in this case, it would make it a lot easier, but it's okay. We'll see what happens. And so I'm going to talk about this. If anybody else wants to talk about it on their channel, that would be great.
Yeah,
if you want to have Am on your channel, contact me and I can put you in touch with him, and we'll see if we can get you and Judy out there to Antarctica with us.
Yeah, man, that'd be so amazing. It would just be so cool. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
what about seeing the fucking sun while you're down there? You're I mean, if just like hearing Dubé say something that was like totally, that totally harshed my mellow. I don't like the way you said that. Well, how about seeing the sunset? Is that going to bring you back?
I know what's going to happen. Like, he's going to turn back around and say, well, I guess I'm flat again. I saw the sun go down.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Again. Whatever.
Whatever gives me money or gets me laid, I don't care. This guy has zero conviction. This guy doesn't give a shit about anything. This guy has zero. I mean, I kind of want to find his music. There's a 0% chance this guy has good music. His name is A.M. Lerner, and a learner is spelled Lerner, not learner as in Lean. And he's from
Amoral Learner.
No, if you could find him on Spotify under AM space Lerner Lerner. And yeah, he's a singer songwriter. He went flat and he came back, and
we will we'll be able to talk hockey. So you being a Canadian and me being a huge hockey fan, I know we have that in common, but you'll have a little bit easier time, I think, acclimating to the cold temperature than I will.
Oh, maybe you should take the hockey team down there.
Why is that? It's pretty chilly up here where I live.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, Am, thank you so much for.
That's it, guys. That's all.
Thanks.
That's his whole story.
That's the story.
That's the whole kit and caboodle right there. How you become a glober to flat earther and realize the errors of your ways and come back.
Go back to the globe.
Okay. So sad.
I'm never going to get that 40 minutes back ever.
That was, we needed to do that though. And then,
it was, I guess it could be kind of reverse therapy or something like that. But yeah, that's just not, it's just, that doesn't fly with me. It doesn't fly with me on a single, it feels like rhetoric. If this is a true story that he's telling, that dude is slow. He's Don Pettit slow. We didn't see the tattoo. I mean, I'd like to see the tattoo. If he has the tattoo, then he's just dumb as box rocks, or he's acting, paid actor. So like, I mean, there's too, you could read too much into the milquetoast, the middle of the road storyline making and how they were sort of speaking into each other's speak.
I agree, Herman.
And I'm like, it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
No, it's so dumb. I mean, this is why I become a flat earther, is because even like what I would expect, it's always worse and dumber, and just adding more proof to the flat. Like, come on, that's the one guy that's like, well, I came back. Did we hear his reasonings? And okay, let's take a look. I shouldn't have X'd out of that, because I wanted to just know that I looked at the comments, and not one person has pointed out how ridiculous his story was. They're all just like, oh yeah, good for you. Congrats. Like,
it's like this echo chamber of making yourself feel better about the ball. And I'm sure, some people in our community figure out, where that comment section is. I'm sure we could leave some creative comments there as well. I just hate that low vibration shit. But this stinks. This whole thing stinks.
No, that needs to be addressed, because if somebody's claiming they have a reason to go back to the ball, I'm all ears. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be that cringe. I didn't know it was going to be that easy to just. I mean, we don't have to have any arguments for any of those points. I thought there'd be at least a point that I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, let's look into that and see what's going on. That's great.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Zero. Just, I got mad. Somebody said
Dubé is stupid now. He's a poo-poo head in my mind.
Said it might be Sun Simulator, and that just made me quit. Man, I don't like Sun Simulator.
Yeah, exactly. That changes everything. What? It's so sad.
Yeah.
So sad, guys. Oh man. Anyways, hey, where were we? Was that worth looking at? I think it was worth looking at.
I think so, because I had to go through at least one of them. I mean, just
Globebusters are gonna love it. Gene, you think so? Yeah, you guys. Oh, I would love to hear breakdown on Sunday.
Tear it apart, do the thing. That just kind of like, that's just a couple of musicians looking at it for the first time. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that can like look at his face.
There's really not much else you could do, though. I mean,
one time he was just like, "I agree." I was like,
I
to follow up with like something. I agree. Why? It was like, no, I agree. I'm like, really? Kind of, you want to follow that up with something? You want to follow it up with the, why you agree with it? You have any examples for why you agree with them? And like, it just didn't come. It's like, that's where the script ran out. Script runs out. Stop. Read. Stop.
Yeah. If all you guys know this, you've been to a flat Earth meetup. You don't get people that are that quiet and just sitting there willing to be like, "Oh, I concur." No, dude, a flat earther will not shut the fuck up, to be honest, and just be like, and this happened, and then I had this feeling, and then it was like, It's like, now it's my turn to talk. Like, that's a real flat earther, because we've been through it. We're not like, yeah, what you said sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost like he's
I didn't like that.
I just like, here's the thing. I'm glad we went through it, even though it just made me cringe. Like, but, I really thought it would have been better written. Like, the script would have been better written, and they really didn't try very hard.
No,
he's either stupid, or the script he was on was just very milquetoast vanilla. And, if he was flat for 3 years, there would be lots of reasons that he would have. He would have a line list of reasons that brought him back to the globe.
Yeah.
A line list. 3 years. 3 years. He would have a line list. These are reasons why. And he would read them off in a row. He would read them off.
Because you have all these proofs that now, if it's a ball again, well, now you need an explanation. Why can't we take a picture of space? Why do we see too far? Why can we see the bottom half of boats come back into view? Why are they hiding this? Yeah. Why are there so many lies? Why are Antarctica cameras being cut off in the day? Why? Like, all these things would need to be addressed. If I was to be like, okay, it's a ball. Well, I need 1,000 answers.
But then he wants to risk pissing off his new wife, allegedly, by marrying her on top of an ice cap and then possibly seeing the sunset, and then he'll have to change back over again. What's that going to fucking look like? I mean, it's just retarded. It's dumb.
It's so dumb.
Okay. I think we can agree that the one flat earther that went back to the globe, there's some question marks. It's the most pathetic
one I've ever seen. I couldn't write that if I wanted to, even if I was to like try to like invent something that was realistic. Like that doesn't make any sense. This guy looked like he was so desperate.
Yeah, and Gene Edited has a good point here too. It's like he would have been able, he'd been talking to more people than just Dubé. I mean, I just picked the one name
Right.
off the top of the Flat Earth movement, the one name that everybody knows, and that's the guy that he didn't talk to anybody else. He didn't talk to the hundreds,
Absolutely.
thousands of people that are creating content now on it. You didn't talk to any of those guys. You just, no, Dubé made me mad, so I went back to the Globe. You know, I'm just like, dude, come on, man, come on,
Yeah.
man.
I know. He's saying. So let me get this. He was disappointed in the Bay. Doesn't even know Duffy. I know, right? No, it's true. Like this sounds like he became a follower and like as like a cult like follower and was like, whatever Dubé says, I don't care. Just and then that's it. But it's Dubé's it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
If you were a Glober and you wanted to write something out that would sound like a story that would convince that you came back from the Globe, I mean, you could write it better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And see, like here also, Rico wanted me to show that he does have a tattoo of Don Pettit on his leg.
Oh yeah, Rico for sure. Yeah, I know. So it's like you got.
Yeah.
Once you get this, so guys, all right, guys, you become a flat earther by getting the tattoo. You get the Patreon membership. We've done it all. We've done everything that a flat earther is supposed to do, and then we're just like, no, like, oh. And by the way, yeah, I was nice about Will Duffy for a while. When he said that. Well, I was gonna have a golden ticket winner because we had this, but a flat earther tricked me, and I did not expect a flat earther to trick me. So it's their fault that we have to go fund this ticket now. I'm just like, oh, you're dead to me. You're freaking dead. You're dead to me. You're so dead to me. Like, how dare you? You're blaming the flat earth community on your lack of discernment in an email. If somebody says, oh, I'll pay for that. And you're like, well, I could trust them. La, la, la. Oh, got fooled. It's the flat earther's fault. Moving on. Fuck you, Duffy.
And then he put you through that America's Got Talent like fucking game show thing, and I was like, okay, this is it. Doesn't he like? Oh, doesn't Duffy owe a bunch of money to a bunch of people anyway? Why is he paying that back first before he spend all the money on everybody else going? Hey, that's a whole other thing. You know,
I don't know. I mean, I just found that because I'm subscribed to that channel still for some reason, and I just thought it was interesting that somebody was claiming to be a ex-flat earther, and I wish it was not a Duffy production. I'm curious to hear anybody's story on that, but that's the first one I've ever seen.
Well, we found the one.
It was so bad.
That's not a good story. It's not a good story.
I'm really glad I got to break that down with you. I was hoping we could do that. That's fun.
Yeah.
What should we talk about now? What do we got? Anything else? Anything that was on your mind that you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should you know what, we're always talking so much, you and I, about just regular, anything. We always just talk whatever we want to talk about, but we never really do is give a good shout out to a lot of people that are doing really good work.
Oh, great idea! Because I see you on a lot of channels, and I actually wanted to ask you because you're very good about that, and I noticed that. So yeah, please shoot them out.
And if I don't mention you, it's just because there's so many right now. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good work, but Sovereign Soul and Chain Mind is knocking it out of the ballpark. You know the regulars, Sarge and Strange World crew, everybody over there, and the tech shows are great. On the Sombrero on Sundays, we don't do the tech. I mean, there's enough people doing really great tech work, like Glowbusters and Glowbusters Tech, and other people that are doing what I call the heavy lifting. Karen B on her Monday show. I should have a list of these really. There's Ironworks guys. They're doing 4 or 5 shows a week. I don't get to go to the early morning ones because I'm usually deep in sleep.
Dude, I woke up for the last one. I couldn't believe it. I was 6 a.m. I was checking it out.
Yeah. Flat Soy's perspective is if you're past all the regular, the initial flat earth stuff, and you really want to get into the high end thinking and math, you can go over to that one. The Flat Earth Debate, he does that really good one over in the UK. there's a lot more, but there's people doing really good work, and there's people that, you know, they're starting some arguments within the flat earth community, but I still watch their channels just because there's good stuff on there. Leave those names out of it, but they, you know, they're still doing good work. And I will still go into the chats, and I'll still go on some of these channels, and I'll hang out, and as long as it doesn't devolve into the Jerry Springer shit, like, you know, I can keep it on a level pitch, but we're all kind of coming from the same, you know, we're coming from the same place. And you know, I don't think we shout out those people enough. And you guys in the chat, just list off more people that I'm forgetting, because
yeah, please do. If we can do some of that, I'd like to.
Mindshock is back, by the way. I just saw that. Justin, thank you.
Oh yeah, Mindshock's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I like his voice.
By the way,
like,
that's not really
he's
his
got
voice.
like a very like
he uses
smart. Yeah, he's got a great voice.
He uses a voice thing, so it's not his real voice, but he uses that. I think
really
to shield, because he might have he may have like a day job or something that he can't be operating.
It sounds like a real voice.
He says that he's not round or flat. He kind of plays the middle. I kind of have a hunch that he's flat, but he's really excellent at breaking down like logical fallacies. You know, obviously Witset's out there just crushing. He was on Stu Peters last night.
Wow.
You know, Weiss is doing the rounds. He's like, you know, it's one show after another for him these days. You know, so there's a lot of people out there doing great work. And like, I would hope like when you and I get together, or like when the Sombrero gets together on Sundays, it's more about, you know, having a good laugh and remembering that we're still human beings, and that we're still the same as we always been. We just happen to see the world in a different way. You know, and
well, yeah, there's that.
I mean, we're fundamentally changed at a very base level for sure. You know, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we're just people, man. We're just, you know, we like to hang out, crack jokes, and do, you know, what Globies like to do. It's just, you know, we're just a little bit more, I don't know. Come up with
No, I know. I mean, I'm happy that Stu Peters, by the way, is kind of coming out flat. You showed me a video when you were in town, though, of Stu Peters. That
Stu is wow, how do I describe Stu? He's saying some of the things that a lot of people are afraid to say.
Right.
And you know, like, we got to be real careful about some of those subjects. But I, you know, he is open. He is open to the subject enough to have our best and brightest on there. That's for sure. And
well, here's a video of him talking about that. Let's.
You're gonna make it, my special boy.
Ever since you showed me this, I couldn't believe it.
Never made it, our family devastated. A lifetime just
This is it, right?
Oh, it's Peter's rap song?
Yeah.
I never made it, our
I've got it here, and I've never
family
seen it.
devastated. A lifetime just wasted because I never made it.
No regrets, right? It's just something people say to be nice. Specifically, the ones you dial when you're faded at night. Drunk talk like, come and see me, man, I'll pay for your flight. You gotta hear this new shit I'm on, the video's right. Dog, I've been talking to record labels, investors, promoters, and the future looks real bright for Focus. We're planning on shows in the tropics. I'm talking Grammys and Oscars. Halftime for football and in the ring with them boxers. They're gonna know the name Stuart Peters. From the grassroots music to influence on big screens and movie theaters. I'm finally gonna live that dream. It's worth the thin times I went through to make a difference in these little kids' lives. And then the shock hit me when I opened my eyes. And now I know this whole episode I've been hypnotized. The extinguisher's been deployed. The fire inside of me is slowly burning out. And now I realize that I'm a
Failure, never made it.
All right, that's enough of that. So
Yeah.
that's Stu Peters coming out. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
He was a rapper. Maybe. Oh, I think it was Karen that showed me that. That wasn't you. That's right. But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, and you know what? We got to shout out to Jim Brewer too. I mean, like, the dude's like, somebody called that. I think it was either LeBrash or I don't know. Somebody said he's going to be the first comedian that pops into the crew, and it was. They called it like 2 years ago.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm so proud. If I couldn't ask for a better person to be that guy, because I've always felt like me and him are the same dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We have very similar overlaps. I've always appreciated him. Dude, yeah. So okay, so you have all your channels. I'm sorry. Is there anybody that we're leaving out?
There's more. There's so many more channels, guys, and I'm sorry. I'm just kind of brain farting right now, but I should probably have a list for this in the
Space
future.
audits.
Yeah. And the ones I've been on the most lately have been Sob's show.
Yeah.
I've been on Flatzoids once, but I'm always kind of hanging out. And then there's Nacha Cheetahs. There's kind of some disruption going on. I like that channel, but there's a lot of infighting that's going on. So I'm kind of, I keep an eye on all these channels because the content on them is so good. Just like I would my call to everybody out there that's like, these little infightings, all this just doesn't do us a lot of good, and if we can, I encourage strong discourse, in the Flat Earth community, because that's what makes it stronger. And I just think, let's just, let's just behave better. Everybody behave better. I know
I see there's a lot of personal attacks about people for their personal lives that have nothing to do with Flat Earth. And I think that's where I know what you're talking about. And I get put off by it because I'm like, we got to expose this flat earther for something that has nothing to do with what he's putting out there, or something that's personal that's happened to him, that now all of a sudden, just like we talked about in the beginning of this episode, it's like now, like, we have to demonize people for things going on in their personal lives. That really doesn't affect anything. That's not a community thing. Doesn't help this whole community. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't. Sitting around trying to make, like, oh, this guy said this and this guy said this and I exposed this, but like nothing to do with Flat Earth. Yeah, it has to do with personal bullshit. Yeah, and I think it's a total trap, because I feel like we lose a lot of friends becoming Flat Earthers in our support system. So then next thing we know, like, we turn into gossipy little people about people's personal lives, and it's a dead end. Yeah. At least publicly. You want to have these conversations privately, that's great. But when you have a bunch of people, you're doing a show and you have a lot of people watching, and they're just like addressing things that have nothing to do with Flat Earth, because nobody's perfect. Yeah. I consider that shitty truther stuff, and so I know what you mean.
It's like being in high school again, huh?
Right. Right. But like being in high school, like publicly, while everyone's watching you. Like, and you're trying to represent a community that's being completely demonized and just thrown on the bus every chance it can get. Yeah. The last thing we need, like, I don't think people realize that. And who the hell am I, though? I'm like, 2 days ago, I'm singing about how I gesticulate my little whore mouth on the catwalk. So, I mean, I don't know how great of a day. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing either here, but I'm trying to keep it.
That was, by the way, the best Mad Libs ever, by the way.
Thank you. If anyone missed the Mad Libs, that was the best one. It was. I don't know how to top that, man.
Oh, man. The other Mika and Gene also have a show. Sorry, Gene edited. I haven't had a chance to really do. I've only done one of your full shows, just because I don't think I even had you subbed, believe that or not. So I subbed you up. I think it's when you had, I can't remember who you had on.
But I don't know that one specifically.
Gene, can you link, throw a link about your show? You and
I know Gene. I just didn't know there was a show.
Yeah. But I'm not sure what night they're on either. I just happened to catch it. I think Weiss was on this show that I caught, but it's anyway, Gene and Mika, I believe, or Mika, I can't remember. It was the first show I'd ever seen on that one. We're trying to get together a master like TV guide list. Like, Nicole started working on it. Can you have that piece of paper?
There's like the Flat Earth Wiki too, but
like a TV guide. So we were talking the late night chat with the Sarge the other night, and everybody, we were talking like we need to figure out. So like we started to go through it. It was like, it used to be like we were, back in 15, whenever we had to wait sometimes 3 or 4 days before another show would come on. Well, like now it's like, let's see, Sundays Globebusters, the Sombrero, and then Mondays Coffee Talk. You got Ironworks is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:30. Strange World Tuesday, and Wednesday there's a secret show with Mark and Patricia. You got your gravy bunch, BSTs, which is probably starting right now. Reefer roulettes either Wednesday or Thursday. Ironworks, again, there's Ironworks. You got Sav is on Tuesdays as well, but he kind of goes on wherever he wants. Glowbusters Tech on Thursday. You get Zulu's Trivia Friday night, and then you've got an Ironworks also around the same time. And Saturday, Anti-Religious Study with Karen B. That's just what we could remember. And then you've got Witsit stuff that just seems to pop up. I'm not sure if he's actually a scheduled out thing. Melodome kind of does his stuff. Yeah, I don't know if he has a regular day. So but I mean, we've got kind of a working schedule.
That's good. No, that was great.
There's always like something going on. So
it's your FE guide.
It's your FE guide.
It's your FE guide.
How about that?
It's FE guide. That's good.
Yeah. So
yeah. It would be cool if there was one channel that was always streaming those as they go, so you don't have to go to every channel. It'd be cool if there was I don't know, an FE channel.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It could be 24/7, like the Glowbusters has 24/7 if someone wanted to set that up. Bill Keith, if you're listening, he's the archivist. He's the guy that's got every single thing documented on hard drives of everything that's happened with Flat Earth since the beginning. He's got it all on hard drives. Dude is the hardest working man in Flat Earth. You probably won't meet him unless it's a meetup real close to where he lives. He was at the Eclipse with us. And he's very meticulous. And if we lost something due to the internet or anything like that, everything is tracked. And he has it all on hard drives. So if you ever see Bill Keith or the archivist in any chats anywhere, thank him profusely. Because he does it for free, and everything that has ever happened in Flat Earth, I think he has it, and he has it meticulously outlined. So
wow, I would love to get it.
Shout out to the archivist on that one. He'll probably have this one archived.
Especially since our Internet Archive has been deleted. So I mean,
how much stuff have we lost? How much stuff have we lost in the purge?
They say that's the new Alexandria burning. So
yeah.
It's pretty wild. Well, dude, now it's about the time. Let's do a food for final thought kind of a thing. Like I said, is there anything that you've learned? Like we've talked for a while, but is there any a add on to your disposition on Flat Earth that seems kind of new to you? Is there any I mean, there's a lot of, we're always thinking, but if you were to kind of break down your 2024 add-ons for Flat Earth, either the mentality or the proofs or whatever, if you're going to give an update on the Alex Lowry view, what would you talk about?
Well, lately I've just been doing nerding out with, on Flatzoid's channel, they do some pretty high level stuff as far as Flat Earth is concerned. We're talking about, it's math. It's not exciting to talk about, but it's getting a better understanding. Say that one of the newest things for me that was fun was the flight pitch data on approach to an airport. And they have to have a horizontal baseline, 100, 200 miles out. They cannot function. You cannot land the plane unless you have a horizontal baseline. I know that sounds stupid and it's nerdy, but it's that was a new thing for me. Another one that I could think about and chew on.
Add that to the pile, right?
Yeah. And so, and that's going to bring out a lot more pilots. There's pilots coming out and talking now. And I think the more pilots that come out, the more pilots are going to come out. And, you're going to see a surge of that kind of stuff. But, I'm just trying to hone in on making sure that I can talk the basic proofs really well. And, also just trying to get a laugh, man. I mean, trying to keep.
No, you're great.
My foot stays in music and make sure that my head stays in music. I know you and I and the guys, Booze and our buddy from
Tyler
Tedeschi Trucks are going to start doing some music this December. Yeah. That's a surprise. We don't know what that's going to look like yet, but that could be a pretty exciting thing.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and also just as an aside note. Nicole and I are on a year and a half now trying to figure out how to get to the Carolinas. And so we're looking at bed and breakfasts. We're looking at other things and kind of seeing what comes across, but we're hoping to eventually the writing's on the wall that New York City is not going to be one of the greatest places to live in anymore. It's kind of already sort of showing its colors. So we're thinking about, a move. It's coming to the surface, but that's pretty much it. Having a good laugh with you.
Yeah, man, we're doing it right. After Flattoberfest, I think it was the best one yet, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah, and I thought, as far as that's concerned, everybody did a bang up job in the situation that it was, because that hurricane came right at us. It's almost like they knew we were going to be there.
I know, right?
And we
then
stood,
Whitsett had to deal with that again.
Yeah.
Like a week later, like he had to evacuate. It's like it's almost as if they were trying to get rid of Whitsett.
And we just, everybody stood strong and hung in there and made, with the best out of a really bad situation. And honestly, I got to spend a lot more quality time than I normally would have had it been a bigger event. Like it's, compared to the Vegas one where there's so many people, I felt like I got maybe a minute, 30 seconds with everyone that I really wanted to spend a little more time with. So that was good. And, I'm sure, someone's going to take up the torch, after Karen, unless she changes her mind. Somebody's going to make that happen again, in the future. So like, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, or just like more. It doesn't need to be a one thing. We're decentralized, so we could have multiple types of festivals with all different shapes and sizes and flavors. We could have like a food and Flat Earth, or a music and Flat Earth, or a Flat Earth and friend. Or there's so many different ways to do it, and there's no one way. So we're all a bunch of leaders, who aren't trying to like step on each other's toes too much and have some respect. I think that's what I see in most of the community. You've done great stuff, man. It was obvious. It was obvious at this festival, like, you're a huge positive force in this community, and I think everyone can agree that we love. I don't know where we would be without you. Man. You have a vibe that is very, very perfect.
Thank you. And I should say about you too, is like your comedy carried a lot of us, in those dark days following 2020. It was like
me too.
That's
how I got through it.
I look forward to it, every single time you came on. So every time you have me on, I appreciate it. And you're always welcome over at the Sombrero on Sundays.
Thank you.
And that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, I would have done it last week. I went to a Rock and Mineral Fest festival with Karen and Cammie and Emily. And so I missed that one, but thanks, man. So this Sunday you're gonna be doing it again. What time is that?
It's Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We've been having guests. We've had some great guests so far. Our guest list has kind of been the dream team of Flat Earth so far. We may take a break from guests this Sunday because we have a lot to talk about anyway. But we got more people coming on, as we move forward. And we're going to learn eventually how to maybe take some phone calls. We may put the link out to have surprise guests on. But we really haven't had a chance, just the four of us, to hang out without a guest.
You guys are getting better every week, though, and figuring out the format and stuff. And I'm just glad you guys are doing it. It's really cool. It's been growing really nicely.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, man. I'll definitely swing on by soon, maybe this week, and pop in for a minute.
Sweet.
All right, we're gonna end with our sponsor here, guys. This is my sponsor. All right, so check it out.
Guys.
Commercial. Much love, everybody.
Are you experiencing signs of discomfort or irritability while watching NASA and space news? Have you noticed your sense of reality becoming more and more blatantly and obviously shattered? Do you find your cognitive dissonance increasing more and more as you live life post-pandemic? Are you struggling to maintain relationships with friends, colleagues, and loved ones? Well, now there's Flatterall. Flatterall has been tested and proven to help aid in the awakening of the collective consciousness. Flatterall can help you decipher the truth from the lies that we were all taught. Flatterall can help cure symptoms of chronic appealing to authority, systemic brainwashing, excessive need for conformity, NASA fanboy syndrome, delusional belief of the moon landing, and diarrhea. Talk to your doctor today and see if waking the up is right for you. Side effects may include losing your family, losing your job, losing your mind, questioning your sanity, questioning your gullibility, questioning literally everything in your life, and diarrhea.
Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Follow Crumb. Don't follow Crumb.